Hello everyone and welcome to the video. Today we are going to talk about a sci-fi thriller named Tenet. Before we dive into the story of the movie, I would like to warn you that there are a lot of spoilers in this video because we will be discussing the whole plot of the movie in detail, so proceed with caution. The film starts with a CIA agent, the protagonist, in an extraction mission to save someone at an opera house. His life is saved by a masked soldier with a red trinket who reverses a bullet through a gunman after taking an artifact. The protagonist is captured by mercenaries. He endures torture and eventually ends up consuming cyanide. To his surprise, he awakens to learn that the cyanide pill was a test of loyalty. He also learns that his team has been killed and the artifact is lost. A group known as Tenet recruits the protagonist. Bullets with inverted entropy, or bullets that go backward in time, are described by a scientist. Other inverted artifacts appear to be remains of a future conflict, according to her. Through a CIA source, the protagonist meets his handler, Neil, and the two track down the inverted bullets to Mumbai arms dealer Priya Singh. They discover that Priya is a Tenet member, and that Russian oligarch Andrei Sater bought and reversed her cartridges. Sater's former wife Kat, an art appraiser who falsely verified a fake Goya drawing, is approached by the protagonist in London. Sater bought the drawing from a repo, a fraudster, who is using Kat's authentication as blackmail to keep her in their relationship. The protagonist and Neil devise a scheme to take the painting from the Oslo airport's Freeport storage facility. However, they must defend themselves against two masked individuals who appear to emerge from an odd gadget. After that, Priya reveals that the device is a turnstile, a gadget that can invert the entropy of things and people, and that the masked men were the same person traveling back and forth in time. Kat leads the protagonist to Sater on the Amalfi Coast, Italy, and discovers the drawing is still intact. Sater intends to kill the protagonist, but after Kat attempts to drown him, the protagonist saves his life. Sater and the protagonist form an alliance to recover a case allegedly containing plutonium-241. The protagonist and Neil intercept a shipment in Tallinn and take the case, which holds the artifact that was stolen in Kiev. Meanwhile, an inverted Sater ambushes them, keeping Kat captive. Sater receives an empty case from the protagonist, who retreats after receiving it. Kat is rescued by the protagonist, but he is quickly apprehended and taken to a warehouse with a turnstile. The inverted Sater shoots Kat with an inverted round in the warehouse, as the non-inverted Sater seeks the artifact's whereabouts. Tenet agents commanded by Ives come and save the protagonist, as Sater flees through the turnstile. Kat is taken through the turnstile by the group to aid in the healing of her inverted injury. The now inverted protagonist returns to the assault site, where he tries to grab the artifact, but is stopped by Sater. The protagonist's car flips and starts burning, but Neil saves him and reveals that he is a Tenet agent. Then Neil, the protagonist, and Kat venture back in time to the Oslo Freeport. Neil and Kat follow the protagonist as he confronts his old self, enters the turnstile, and reverts. Priya later reveals that Sater is gathering the artifacts in an attempt to develop an algorithm capable of severely inverting the Earth's entropy. Sater is dying of pancreatic cancer, Kat discloses. They discover that Sater is triggering the algorithm via a dead man's switch. While the protagonist, Neil, Kat, and Tenet's soldiers travel back in time to that day in Vietnam when Sater is on vacation, Kat disguises herself as her young self to find a way to keep Sater alive long enough for Tenet to obtain the algorithm. Tenet follows the algorithm to Sater's hometown in northern Siberia, where it is kept under tight security. They conduct a temporal pincer movement, with non-inverted red team troops attacking at the same time as inverted blue team troops. As they strive to acquire the algorithm, an inverted blue team soldier sporting a red trinket sacrifices himself to save the protagonist and Ives. Kat kills Sater in Vietnam just before the protagonist acquires the algorithm. The protagonist, Neil, and Ives eventually dismantle the algorithm in separate ways. Neil is wearing the red trinket, which the protagonist notices. Neil unveils that he was recruited by the protagonist in the past, and that this mission marks the end of a great friendship for him. Priya tries to assassinate Kat since she knows too much, but Priya is executed by the protagonist, who firmly believes he is the mastermind behind Tenet.